This award is yet another example of how incredibly fortunate I've always been. Scholarships that enabled me to go to college and law school. Fortunate to have the wisdom to pass on Stanford and go to Michigan Law School despite the weather, and meet my wife to be there. Lucky to have a position with the U.S. Justice Department, then getting a job with a small, well-respected law firm in San Francisco, and later to a partnership with a great firm, McCutcheon, Doyle, Brown, and Henderson. And almost 20 years after that, being so fortunate to be appointed to this incredibly fulfilling job. Wow, how lucky can you get? I am like the British politician Clement Attlee, of whom Churchill said, he is a modest man, and with good reason. I wish to introduce and thank family and friends who are with us tonight. First, my wife, Judy. Please stand. You should receive the outstanding personal for being the caring, sharing, and brilliant person she is. Very well known to the Silicon Valley community as former mayor of Palo Alto, head of nonprofit organizations, and non-stop advocate for a better world for all. And no wonder that I am usually, well, always, referred to as Judy Kleinberg's husband. And as mentioned by our president, she fits in here well as a distinguished law review graduate of Hall, who was leaning in well before the current leaners were out of grade school. My beautiful and talented daughter, Laura. Licensed California architect and mom to grandchild number 1, soon to be present. Soon to present grandchild number 2 to the world. 2 missing family members, our tech business son Alexander is in Singapore, working for Twitter, and our venture capitalist son-in-law Kent is participating in 2 business events tonight that couldn't be changed. We miss having him here. 2 of my dearest judicial mentors and friends, the Honorables Mary Jo Levinger and Jamie Jacobs May, former distinguished members of the Superior Court bench, and 2 of the best law professors I ever had. Would you stand up? And I must recognize 2 of my current colleagues and former law partners, Judge Beth McGowan and Judge Tom Coonley. Are they here tonight? In fact, at this moment, 9 former McCutcheon lawyers sit on superior courts in the Court of Appeal in Northern California, which I think is quite remarkable. The wonderful people with whom I work every day. Our uniformly pleasant and conscientious courtroom clerk, Lynn Thody, who's ill and can't be here tonight. Deputy Sheriff Cesar Avalos, who provides safety and philosophical insights. Renowned court reporter and scratch golfer, Joanne Martin. And the coordinator of the Complex Civil Department since its inception, Romina Walker, who is one of the most extraordinarily smart, organized, and thoughtful people I have ever known. Romina. My brains, Charles Yu, research attorney for the court, who has served me and you brilliantly for years. And these people, Charles, you want to stand up? These people are coming to work every day, a treat. The Superior Court staff is, well, superior. I'm sure I would leave names out if I started to recall all on our staff who have made my 11 years on the bench worthwhile and have taught me so much. And as many of you know, our court is the largest north of Southern California, 5th largest in the state, 89 judicial officers, 13 courthouses, a staff of 670 people, receiving over the clerk's desks thousands of filings every day, but keeping us the most current of any of the large courts in the state, yet with a over 20% vacancy rate. This is a superb group of public servants. So the next time you hear some politician, or pundit, or neighbor, or editorial writer say something negative about government workers, have them give me a call. I'll straighten them out. I want to thank my judicial colleagues past and present, whom I work with and those I've come to know, for their friendship, help, and teaching. Especially our two most recent presiding judges, Richard Loftus, Brian Walsh, both of whom have handled that incredibly demanding job with great skill and aplomb. Could they please stand up? Dick Loftus may deny it, but I think he had something to do with the color scheme of the halls outside here, the blue and gold color scheme. All of these judges have enriched my life really more than I can say. And you know, it's no secret that judging is an isolating profession. And we have to turn to each other for wisdom and support. You may remember that scene late in the movie, The Right Stuff. There's a big party going on in Houston in the Astrodome. And the astronauts just look at each other, not saying a word, but knowing in their hearts what they meant to each other and the world outside. And that's us. These judges have the right stuff. And finally, a few words about the lawyers here tonight, and those still at their desks or at the kitchen table, working even at this hour. About 30 years ago, the corrosive notion was advanced that lawyering was a business, not a profession. It was all about the money. Who was in the top 25 in terms of profit per partner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And anyone who questioned this new paradigm is considered out of touch, old guard, a Luddite. And this has reinforced the negative image of lawyers portrayed on TV and in the movies. And yet, as you heard tonight, how to explain the devotion to public service by thousands of lawyers every day. A show of hands of the people in the audience. How many in the audience have served as settlement judges pro tem, which has enabled our court to be so current? And some people here doing that. How many have worked on committees for ours and other courts? How many have worked for the Legal Aid Society or the Bar Foundation? How many have represented indigent clients without compensation? How many have heard cases for our court for traffic, unlawful detainer, and other small claims calendars? Taught at high schools and law schools, participated in the mock trial program, and organized and run nonprofit organizations. The lawyers who do this are a testament to Einstein's words, only a life lived in the service to others is worth living. The real truth is that deep in our lawyer souls, we want to do good. We know that the rule of law is at the very core of a just society. That's why dictators always, without exception, try to corrupt or shut down the justice system as one of their first goals. We've often heard the quote from Shakespeare's Henry VI. The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. And everybody lives. But the real context of the quote is the speaker suggesting that all lawyers would have to die in order to impose his will as king. The lawyers would want fairness and process, indeed justice. No dictator wants that. The Wall Street lawyer with the perfect name of Harrison Tweed, whose blood was said to be so blue it was navy, and yet accepted President Kennedy's challenge to head the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights under law, got it right when he said about lawyers, with all their faults, they stack up well against those in every other occupation or profession. They are better to work with, or play with, or fight with, or drink with than most other varieties of mankind. So don't be sucked into this law as a business mantra without questioning. Look around the room tonight. This is a remarkable band of brothers and sisters carrying on great and worthy traditions, keeping the rule of law intact for all. They are inspired by the words of the Santa Clara County Bar Association's Code of Professionalism: civility, professional integrity, personal dignity, candor, diligence, respect, courtesy, cooperation, and competence. So I am humbled, and I'm deeply touched by this award. But the real recognition should extend to superb bar associations such as this one, and to all of you. I salute you.